Many thanks again for staying with us on the show TMI. Lovely Monday morning. Today's conversation on this segment of our presentation TMI will focus on some recent development as it relates to the highly revered palace of the Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Oba Ewai II. I have with me here Mr. Uwajai Odige, who is a public affairs commentator and analyst, and be sharing some thoughts with us on some of these developments that has taken the front burner in recent times, with the palace taking a very decisive action on those people who have been referred to as impersonators. Give us the foundation of this. Two issues we're looking at. One, the attempt for a certain individuals to be banned in Benin City. That was about a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then recently we heard of certain individuals who presented themselves as emissaries of the Oba.
Yeah.
And they were saying things about the origin of Ife, which of course is common knowledge. I've heard the Oba of Lagos saying the origin is from Benin Kingdom. And so give us the background of these issues.
Yeah. Well, we are here to correct the distorted misinformation. First of all, let me go back to the turbaning of the Hausa indigene.
Okay.
And that was referred to as His Highness. This is not the first time. About a year plus ago, they attempted to do same thing in Enya.
Okay.
And the palace and the Edo people reacted, which they aborted. So I think, like they said, fear the Greeks when they bring gifts. This will not be the first time, and it will not be the last time. They are trying to test the political water. Remember how 200 years ago, how Uthman Dan Fodio came to West Africa. You see, the Fulaniks, they are what I would call the Negra. We, the black people from West Africa, we are what we call the Negro. They came and they brought their religion, the jihadi movement, Islam, to colonize the West Africans. They have dominated. They have colonized the northern part of Nigeria. That the Hausaks are now subservient to the Negroids. That's the Fulaniks. Now, they want to extend their empire to the south. So what they are doing now is a test to see and feel the pulse of the people. If they want to become Emir, Oba, or His Royal Highness, they can do that in Sokoto, or do that in Kano, or Zaria. But why Benin? Why Edo? Invariably, they want to penetrate systematically and colonize the Edo nation. That can never happen. So we should not just take it from the suffix and say, oh, well, they have stopped it. What prevents them from doing it, secretly, covertly? So, first time, second time, then the third time will definitely occur. So the Benin or the Edo people must be vigilant so that we stop this madness once and for all. It is not only the Hausaks, because I remember some time ago, most of these Easterners too, they do same. You have the Igwe of Benin. I remember sometime many years ago when Labasin introduced himself as the Igwe of Benin. I said, oh, how can? If you want to be Igwe, go to your state or your village. How can you imagine a Benin man going to Sokoto and say, I am not the Oba of Sokoto? It's unheard of. They take us for granted. And they want to test and see what we can do.
Okay.
So next time, the outcome will be different.
Okay, I heard you made reference to the Igbos. I was exactly going to ask you a question in that direction. Apart from the Igbos, you also have the Yorubas in Edo State.
Yes.
Who, for whatever reason, also have some of these royalty coloration of their leadership in. But some of them are saying that why they do some of these things is to have some sort of leadership over the people who are from the same stock with them. That seems to be a major argument that they bring forth.
Well, that argument doesn't hold water. Must you have an Oba? There's, you see, when you go to, I mean, when you leave your area to a new place, you will constitute, a community. That's just like you have any village that you go to in Edo South now, you have the Ago or camp.
Okay.
Yoruba community. You go to Ovia Northeast, there are so many.
Okay.
Must you have Oba there? It's a small community. A community is in a village. Do you understand?
Yeah.
A village is in a town. So if you have a community, there's no need, since you already have the leader of that community, must you give that leader a tag axe, an Oba, or a chief? You see, the mentality is always with us. We are so overwhelmed with that, prefix. I'm a doctor, I'm an architect, I'm this and that. Until the real doctors or the real architects, they don't go out displaying their degrees or all these prefix. You can just be a Mr. Obadia Odige. Must I be the architect Obadia Odige? I have seen one where they said former chief of staff. That was how they, former chief of staff nominee. That was how they introduced him. Former chief of staff nominee. That's the mentality of the black man.
Yeah.
You know, if you are a lawyer, if they don't call you barrister, it's a problem.
So how do we checkmate this? How
I
think
you see, the House of Assembly needs to come up with a law. And granted that Nigeria is a free country, there's free movement,
free association.
Yeah. And once you find yourself in a different community or a different ethnic nationality, you try to comport yourself and live within the provisions of that community. But then for you to now start saying, laying claim. You see, this thing, if we don't curtail it now, it might lead to future laying claims to ownership.
Okay.
Just like the Jaws are now saying that they leased Edo to Ox, that they are the original settlers of Edo nation. That when the Benis came, I don't want to use the word Benis, that when the Edo people came, they gave us a parcel of land and we expanded.
Okay.
Do you see how the Supreme Court, I mean, overruled that this in favor of a donation.
Okay.
So I think that is what they are doing. So now, if the Hausaks or the Hausa Fulani, they are migrating to our area in the recent 1 to 2 years, you see the influx of these young people from the northern part
of the country.
Part of the country. So just imagine in the next 20 years, they start laying claims that they own XYZ. And the law says once you stay there, you become part and parcel of that community. Then what stops them from taking arms to overrun us?
So that law for some people is operational in certain parts of the country, and it's not operational in certain parts of the country. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
the Bishop Hassan Kuka recently said that in the northern part of the country, particularly with high institutions, universities, there is a clandestine move to prevent churches from establishing campus units in the northern universities.
Yes.
And that seems to reflect the fact that some of these schools are now being so badly ethnicized that you have this thing becoming a common practice. You want to comment on that?
Well, I wasn't surprised when I heard it. And it has become a common trend in all the universities. Though, despite the fact that he concentrated on religion only, most of the universities now, their VCs are usually an indigene of that community.
Okay.
Unlike before, the first VC of University of Ibadan was an Igbo man. If you go to University of Lagos, but now it doesn't go that way. What they are now doing is that most of the V6 are usually, they now play the local politics. They put their person there that will always dance to the tune of
the environment.
The environment. Now, the universities in the north, you see, the north, 12 states in the north are Sharia states, whether we like it or not. 12 states in the north are Sharia states. And the way Nigeria is structured, Nigeria is not a nation. We see ourselves first as I'm a Benin man, or rather I'm an Edo man. I'm an Edo man first before I'm a Nigerian. And the same thing goes with you. There is hardly anybody that is a Nigerian first before his ethnic nationality, unless the person is lying. And that is why when you see a president of Nigeria, the first thing, the people from his ethnic nationality will benefit more. So when the northern universities bound Christianity, to me, I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim. But what I'm trying to say is that there is free religion, free association.
So where is this secularism in our constitution?
Well, it is there. Do we obey it? No. We don't. You see, we build, what we do in Nigeria, we operate within the individuals, not within the constitution. We don't have institutions in Nigeria. The VC is Alpha and Omega. The VC decides of what to do. The young girl that was lynched in one of the universities for
alleged blasphemy. That was in Sokoto State.
In Sokoto State.
Yes, one of the...
Up to today, nobody was apprehended. And nothing happened. And we saw them on television, telling the whole world that this is why we did what we did. What happened? Nothing. Who stops the police from carrying out proper investigation? The police, they know them. Why have they not been, apprehended? So, and these universities in the north, they are being funded by the federal government money and the taxpayers' money. But issues, one could have expected that the federal government put a caveat. If you don't make provision for X, Y, Z, you will not get subvention from the federal government. The logs are there, but we don't implement them.
Okay, let's just come back a little bit and look at the issue of impersonation against certain individuals. What is the story behind this impersonation allegation?
Well, we read that a House of Representative member went to Ile-Ife and alleged that the Edo emanated from Ile-Ife. I think that is a very wrong conception. Now, let me take you back to history. Edo State, Edo Kingdom, what we refer to as Benin Kingdom. I don't like to use the word Benin because I'm not a Benin man. Benin is a Portuguese word. It's not in our lexicon.
Okay.
Just like you have Akpakpava. It's not in our lexicon. They are a Kuye or Kuye. So now, the Edo Kingdom is 2,200 years old. The third oldest kingdom in West Africa. The 14th oldest in the world. So the oldest kingdom in Nigeria is Edo. Now, there we were told by the early historians, Ade Ajayi, Olatubosun, and others. They were all Yorubas. They wrote Oyo history, Edo history, or Benin history from their own perception. Mind you, from what they have, they started from the Obaship. The Edos, we have been in existence before the Obaship. We were known as the Igodomigodo under the Ogiso dynasty. So you cannot start the history of a particular set of people from the middle of the game. You must go back to the beginning. So when people like Igareba, the first historian from Benin, so he aligned with the early authors from the Yoruba kingdom.
Okay.
Their own version was that a hunter saw Ododuwa descending from heaven with 250 deities. That's good. The question you ask, how can a man be descend from heaven? Is it from 1,000 feet or 100 feet or 1 million feet to the earth? Nobody has done that.
So it was a hunter who saw. So the hunter pre-existed, what descended from heaven.
So now, a critical thinker, anybody that jumps from 100 feet to the ground will die immediately.
But if it's a spirit being,
there's nothing like that.
Yes.
Absolutely nothing like that. Then, that was the version that was given to rocks, and that is what we'll use for many, many years. Then when the new historian, the new generation of Edo people came, they now trace the history of Ekala Dera to Ile-Ife, who is also known as Izoduwa, that was banished from Edo and landed in Ile-Ife. So when you look at the two stories, what makes sense to a sane person is the story of Izoduwa. Probably, when he saw the hunter, he climbed the tree. Because the man was in the wilderness for many years, alone. So you should imagine his appearance, his physical appearance. When the hunter saw him, lured him to climb down, which he did. And eventually he became their leader, and they made him their king. So the Benins, because we were once fed with lies from the early historians like Ade Ajayi, Olatubosun, and all that, we are still finding it difficult to accept the correct version of what actually transpired.
What you call the correct version, isn't that subjective?
Well, when you look at what they said and what we know, can you believe that somebody will drop from heaven? No. It has never happened. And where is heaven in the first place? How did the hunter know about heaven, that he descended from heaven? Where is heaven? Is it on earth? Is it Jupiter? Where is heaven? Nobody knows where heaven is.
Okay, that's
so that's just a mythology.
No, it's a subject for another day. Let's not even go on that.
Good.
Now.
So
it's a subject for another day.
So since it's a
subject for another day.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So now, that's why the king of Lagos said, look, when you look at the history and you x-ray both versions, the most likely acceptable one is the Edo version.
Okay. Now, these people who went to make a presentation in the presence of the Oni of Ife, were they sent? Were they emissaries of the Oba? Were they assigned to do what they did? What is the story behind that?
Well, I think some of them, they are already under suspension. And they've not named the House, the House of Reps member. We need to know who that person is.
Is he a member from Edo State?
I wouldn't know.
And you may never know.
We will never know. So that's why we want to know. Want to know who that person is.
Okay.
If the person is from Edo, we will now advise for them to ostracize that person or banish that person from Edo. You can't do that. So now, whatever their reasons are, I don't know. Probably they want to, you see, since the history, or rather, since the controversy has been on for so many years, who knows? Somebody could have, sponsored them. Somebody could have sponsored them. It's like saying Mogo Park discover River Niger. It's not possible. Or Christopher Columbus or Amerigo Vespucci discovered America. People were living there already. So you cannot say that Benin, Edo is from Ile-Ife. And Ile-Ife's story with Benin or the Edo during that interregnum was almost, Edo was already 1,500 years old. So how can Edo come from Ile-Ife? It's not possible. So what happened before that, Obaship? So we need to be very, very, we need to understand the history of Edo people. Unfortunately, what we did not do, we did not impose ourselves on others just the same way the Fulanis did. If we had done that, Edo would have been the largest ethnic group in Nigeria. But what we did, we conquer and we live, we ask them to pay homage to the Oba. We are contented with that. And anytime we need, field soldiers to liberate any society or whatever, we just recruit them, we'll, go to war, come back, leave them. That was how. If we had done that, Lagos State would have been Edo. So whatever their reasons are best known to them.
We've seen this. We've seen this. It's like a recurring decimal. This this conversation is like a recurring decimal.
Yes.
These disagreements just keep popping up every now and then.
Yeah.
Why is it so difficult for it to be laid to rest against the background of this myriad of opinions, objective reports, researches that have been done? Why?
Well, no matter, it all depends on who is doing the research. If a Yoruba man researcher is doing it from their own perspective, they're going to see it from their own angle. If the Edo man is doing it, conducting the research, he's going to look at it from Edo angle. But the question is, look at the merit of, their postulation. If you feel that a human being, which you and I know, has never descended from heaven, that, premise alone. But unfortunately for us, the Yorubas embrace Western civilization or education before the Benins. They have what we call written tradition of their history many years before we came on board. So the version of the Yorubas have been in circulation for many years. Then because it's like if you do West African history in the 70s, if you write the Benin version, they will give you F. Do you understand?
Yeah, yeah.
In the 50s and 60s, they will give you F. But now, if you write the Benin version in this present day,
yes,
whoever is going to mark this thing will give you A, because you have
a more current version.
more, yeah. So there is no, you see, it is not objective, 1 + 1. It is subjective. So it's not based on your argument. Who is right?
Okay.
And you give facts. So once you have empirical facts to support your argument, it carries the day. So we came first before Ile-Ife. Even Oyo is even older than Ile-Ife. Because Ile-Ife is the youngest son of Ododuwa.
Okay.
So it was when he returned from Benin they asked him to go and form, he now decided to go and form Ile-Ife.
Okay.
So we cannot come from Ile-Ife because we were already in existence.
Okay, let's look at the broader perspective of this conversation, which has to do with our education as a country, as a people, particularly the teaching of history in our schools. The educational curriculum is, being changed from time to time, maybe with, let's just give the benefit of the doubt to those who are, who have the opportunity to make input into this curriculum. We hear that history is not really being taught as it used to be in schools. I remember back in the days when I was in my junior secondary schools, I did history up to GS3 or so. And that really gave me insight into a lot of things that happened. For example, the Benin massacre of the invasion 1897 of Colonel Peter and Co. and all of that. That's why I knew all of that. But today, many of our young ones, the children of today, many of them don't even have history of Nigeria. What's the import of that? What's the implication of that against the background of some of these undercurrents of constant disagreement about, who is... where is this kingdom from? Where is this that kingdom from? Yes, quickly.
Yeah. First of all, if you want any child to develop, the child must be knowledgeable in history, civic, beliefs, culture, and tradition. Those are the elements that will build up a child.
Okay.
And for one reason or the other, the federal government expunged history. Whatever reason that they gave, it doesn't hold water. And for them to now come back and emphasize more on English language, de-emphasize history, It doesn't make sense. You see, my identity, they said those that doesn't remember history are condemned to repeat it. So you must know your history. Your history will tell who you are. Your history is your identity. So that you'll be able to relate. And even during the history courses when we were in the 70s, when we were in secondary school, most of the sections, they were devoted to the Fulani history, Masa Musa, and so on and so forth. I think it was only 2 topics from Edo Kingdom. Then about 4 or 5 from Oyo Kingdom. They were mostly northern history, which was unfair. But now, whether it was Obasanjo, I can't remember who, under whose regime, abolished history. If you abolish history, how do you expect them to identify with the country? How do you expect them to know who they are? When everybody is trying to go back to study where they came from, the black man. You see, we are still in a state of confusion. Any minister that comes in, so, well, I don't want this, I want to respond this, I want to respond this. You should allow history to remain. What we don't need, CROX. We need history. We need civic. We don't need English. We need biology and other science subjects. If we concentrate on all these subjects, we will be a better person instead of removing history. History is key to the development of a child if we have to progress in this world. Go to China. Go to Russia. Go to the Middle East. They teach them their history. And it is being taught in their native language. And whereas here, it is considered that you cannot even teach it in your vernacular. And what an insult. And if you speak your vernacular in those days, I don't know in your time, they used to beat us. And that alone retarded most of us. It makes us so inferior that for you to be intelligent, for you to be accepted in this world, you have to be a good English speaker. And anytime you speak vernacular, that's why I also help the Yorubas. It is lacking in Edo. The Yorubas, they still teach in Yoruba. But in Benin, we don't do that. And we were punished for speaking in vernacular. So we need to go back and let different stakes, not just federal government. Federal government has nothing to do with education. Let different stakes run their educational system. A school in Edo State, a school in Benin City, they should make Edo compulsory. Any school, any government school in Esan, Isha should be compulsory. Same Esako. University of Benin, University of Ekpoma, they should make Edo compulsory. Once we do that, we'll be able to relate with ourselves. Their argument is that, oh, if we start speaking Edo and this one starts speaking English, we will not understand each other. It's a lie. My mother will go to the market. She will buy whatever she wants to buy.
Okay. On the final point, some of the conversation we've had so far, is there any way, in your opinion, that this conversation resonates with the call for true federalism in Nigeria?
No, we've been discussing this true federalism. What we are practicing is a unitary system under a fake federal system. what was handed over to us by the British. See, the black man has that mentality. This is what the master gave us. We must be in tandem with what the master gave us. We don't, what we learn from the classrooms, we don't take that knowledge to impart it on others. And that is why we are not progressing. If Nigeria must progress, we must abdicate a unitary system of government. If we want to go for true federalism, or a quasi-federalism, or a quasi-confederation, whatever name you want to call it, you cannot operate Edo State from Abuja. A policeman in Abuja that doesn't know a Rousseau Street, you are making me a commissioner or a DPO in Benin. It will not work. And it's like having 5 children. One of them is intelligent. Probably the firstborn is not that intelligent. You will now say, okay, the firstborn, the secondborn, the lastborn must wait and let the firstborn graduate first. No! We should stop the idea and do the restructuring. If we want to decide to go on true federalism, this is the opportunity that we have now. We have a president who is a strong advocate of restructuring. If we miss it in this opportunity, the possibility of us having this opportunity again becomes a bottleneck. But one thing I know is that what Tinubu cannot do does not exist.
Okay, let us hang it there. Odige Uwajai, it's always a delight to have you here. And thank you so much for all the very useful insights you brought to bear on the conversation so far, from attempt to ban someone in Benin, and then of course the impersonation of the Oba of Benin, and then the twisting of the origin of the Benin Kingdom as it relates to Ife, and then of course on the issue of true federalism and the cause for restructuring. It's always a delight to have you here, Mr. Uwajai. I hope we'll have you here some other time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.